Follow up to the previous video. This is going to be signs that you are a generational curse breaker or a family karma carrier. Part 1 is right behind this video. So, like in the first video I said, a sign of being a karmic breaker or a family karma breaker is being spiritually advanced, being enlightened, someone who is awakened. And you've spent some time on this, you've developed it, and you're the most developed out of all your family. You also might always be trying to give them spiritual knowledge or teachings or advice, and they may kind of, push it away. Or they just may not be able to believe what you believe. 2 is you're very different from your family. You feel like some people will say they almost feel like they were adopted, that they're not of the blood of their parents. Some people will say, I just never felt like I fit in with my brothers or sisters. You just think differently, you might act differently, you might speak differently, and have just way different values, opinions, and views about things. And the values and views that you tend to have about things are on the lighter side and more positive, while they might focus on the negatives. 3, you could have had an illness, something that really kind of wrecked your health, took a long time for you to recover, or maybe you never really fully recovered, or you were never the same. It could be health scares, illness that comes and goes, like flare-ups. It's also you took on too much and you always were trying to help others and save people, but neglected yourself. Took on too many of other people's burdens. 4 is there's nonstop family drama. There's always something going on. Someone's always angry at someone. Someone's always disappointed with someone. Someone always feels like they can't rely on someone. Or there's just a lot of crises or a lot of overreacting to things. And you tend to get sucked into it. You might even feel like it's like a soap opera. 5 is you recognize reoccurring patterns. You recognize them so much that they need to be different and they need to change because they're not working. These patterns, yes, could have been handed down from great-grandparents to grandparents to your parents to you. And you're the one stopping it or wanting to put a stop to it. So do you feel like you are a carrier of your family's karma? Do these feel like you? Leave me some comments. I'd love to hear from you.
Family karma is the collective karma of your ancestors' lineage, extending from your parents to you. If your mother had siblings and was the most spiritually mature among the family, she would be the karmic family line's bearer of energetic blockages. Until she lets go of it, she will always be bearing this weight from the moment of her birth. It is the transference of energy, either entirely energetic and subconscious, or by physical and verbal means. It may have an unwelcome effect on how you communicate with your family.
Find parental karma in your birth chart. Here's what you need to look for. Look for karmic planets, which are Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, or the nodes falling in the 4th or 10th house, because this is the parental axis. If karmic planets fall in these houses, depending on the aspects that they make to the other planets in the chart, it can play out a variety of ways. For example, Saturn in the 4th or 10th house can indicate a harsh or disciplinary, authoritarian childhood or lack of a father figure in past lives. Uranus in the 4th or 10th house can indicate in past lives a childhood or home environment that was chaotic or constantly changing, where a parent may have been unreliable or unpredictable. Neptune in the 4th or 10th house can symbolize in past lives having a parent that disappeared a lot or for whatever reason just wasn't available. Or maybe that the roles were reversed, where the child had to take care of the parent and the parent played the child role. Pluto in the 4th or 10th house symbolizes a series of lifetimes where the early environment or childhood was just rooted in power struggles. One or maybe both of the parents, depending on the aspects, may have been manipulative, abusive, or dominating. Remember, in astrology, we always need 3 aspects to support a theme.
It may seem like you're carrying 2 loads of responsibility if you identify as sensitive and were raised by parents who were spiritually damaged. Many of us don't get along with our parents by nature, and occasionally this is because of energetic connections to the past, Since everything is essentially made of energy, consciousness transcends physical existence in the concept of linear time.
Parents curse their children, and funny enough, their parents curse them, and this causes this generational cycle. I'm going to explain to you not only how to break it, but why it starts. Generational trauma and habitual patterns that have taken place because of the environment that some of your parents may have been in cause them to develop character traits and beliefs about the way the world works. This might be the way that your dad treats your mom, or your mom treats you, and this may have come from the way her mother treated her, and all of these environmental circumstances that they were subject to cause them to believe that this worldview is the way that things should be and the way that they should raise a child. But fundamentally, the environment is going to continuously change, and you, being a product of these individuals, are now in a new ever-changing environment with technology and a different world and a different economy. So you should look at all of the mistakes that took place in the environment in which your parents were born and try to understand why they came to the conclusions in which they did, and understand your environment and understand how they taught you the lessons that they took from their environment, and try to transcend not only the trauma or the good things, but create your own worldview, your own perspective on how to live a life, because eventually someday you might have children as well, and the same cycle will continue.
Prior to this existence, we have lived. A large number of the individuals in your family are souls you knew before to this existence and have decided to join you on Earth. You might have decided to live a more intensive life in order to balance out your karma, depending on the course of your past events.
Yeah, growing up and when things not going right, and I don't know, like, yeah, I did have family and I lost it. I don't know.
How'd you lose it?
I don't know. My mom went through some shit with my dad. My mom ended up depending on like drugs and then like giving up and forgetting us, but not really. But consequences was homelessness, abuse, neglect, and you don't have nobody to show up for you.
How old were you when all that was happening?
Out the womb for what you mean?
They were never married?
No, my mom got married, then she remarried.
Was he ever in the house with y'all or no?
He was.
Yeah. And he was abusive to who?
My mother and my sisters.
Like how? What would he do? Like yell, fight, hit?
How he would hit them, like slap them. Like my mother, he would go to the woods, tie her up, and beat her up. And
Wait.
He'd line all my sisters up, went out back and me against the wall. He'd put me against the wall, and I ain't do nothing with them. Like, I'm young as fuck, I don't know what's going on. So my big sisters be, I don't know, probably came after curfew or have a boyfriend not supposed to. So they'll get lined up on the wall, and I'll be right with them.
He would slap y'all?
Yeah, but it's more like, he asks us a question, we give our answer. Slap, then he'd be like, he asked the question again, you know the right answer you're supposed to say, because you'll make an excuse rather than say the real answer because you're scared. So like he'll make sure he slapped one on each cheek. He'll get to me and be like, so Krishan, and then he'll jack me up and I'll just be scared already. But
you should be terrified.
Not really. I don't know.
You were a kid though.
Yeah, but nigga.
Let me ask you a question.
What?
You ever have any days where you feel like it's just kind of an empty feeling on the inside? You ever had a day like that?
No, it's days when you like just sleep in all day and you like it hurts so much you don't want to move.
You're young, but you've lived a lot. There's been a lot that's going on.
Oh yeah.
And a lot of stuff, quite honestly, that just shouldn't have happened. And I'm sorry a lot of that stuff happened to you.
No biggie, that's his life.
It's a biggie though. It is a biggie. Because it affects, right? We carry that.
Not really. If you cast all your worries and baggages to God, you ain't carrying shit but emotion, and I don't really think like I carry. Like, yeah, I go through it and I cry through it and I fight through it and I go to jail for it, and then after that, I'm over it.
You ever talked to somebody like me before?
Yeah, in school.
In school? Like a school counselor or something?
Yeah.
Yeah. Was it a good experience or not great?
No, that's cool. Very more like transparent.
Yeah. Vulnerable. Okay. Well, thank you for talking to me, darling.
No, but, okay, so we done?
Yeah.
Oh, my bad.
Family patterns get passed on from all the way back from ancestors to great-grandparents to grandparents to parents to you. For example, your grandma's theme was being too mild. She always took care of other people and let herself be used by everyone. Grandpa's theme could be alcoholism and smoking. Your mother's theme then translates to a self-sacrificial energy. This can look like unfocused attention, lack of love for oneself or her children. These traditions get passed down in the exact same way oppression, false truth, and hierarchy do. It perpetuates the system of the matrix and keeps the masses' consciousness at a lower, dense level. People may not resonate with the part of you that is toxic and at odds with their outlook on life. Releasing the ties to the parental energy means first and foremost to release the energy from your own mind and emotions. It is about looking within and finding out to what extent you live by your parents' set of illusions, by their do's and don'ts, which were based on fear and judgment.
Irritates me real bad. When I sat down with Adam 22, I said that she plays as a victim, but what I saw was utterly disturbing. Now, I'm not gonna put the baby picture up. Some things I gotta make an exception for. The public has been really hard on me about my coverage, saying give Krishan some grace. Baby neck ain't been supported. Baby been every fucking where but to the doctor. She online more than she at the fucking pediatrician. Baby neck ain't supported. Back ain't supported. All this negative energy. Yeah, Blueface ain't got nothing to do with this. Matter of fact, I salute that brother because he did the right thing. This is a picture of the baby that she sent to him to get him to come see the baby. Ain't you supposed to return like 7 days later to get the baby circumcised? They can't circumcise the baby because the baby's is the same size as the baby's belly. And it's a hernia, which means the baby's probably having problems passing urine. We didn't even know this shit was going on here. But we saw her on live and y'all talking about postpartum depression. Postpartum depression. Have some grace for this sorry, heels have eyes, bitch. That's why she don't mind losing a tooth or two, because that's where the she come from. You can't tell me that Krishan ain't no crackhead baby. And she don't deserve no fucking babies in her care. This shit triggered me. And now she wanna talk about, oh, I'm pressing charges on Blue. No, bitch. You need charges pressed on your sorry ass. You ain't the first single mother and won't be the last. But there's no excuse for that baby to be walking around with a scrotum and a penis the size of his stomach while you online crying about a nigga that said he didn't want you. You a hoe. He's a pimp. And that's how it go in the relationship. Everybody worried about her crying, and this baby been online crying. Fluids and shit backing up in the baby. And y'all wanna praise this shit? Like, this is the shit that bothers me with social media. Why is you on live and your baby is fucking suffering? And you gonna run down and press charges? Bitch, I hope they lock you up. I hope when they see the picture that Blue posted, they lock your sorry ass up. Play the fucking video.
Why would you post my son big picture, Blue? Why would you post my son big picture, Blue? Why would you do that, bro? Why would you do that, bro?
I think the baby should be on here crying. But when it comes to kids, and y'all steady giving sorry motherfuckers like this praise and making them celebrities.
To braid my hair and walk me to school. She used to braid my hair and walk me to school and things like that.
Listen.
And then it starts slowly progressing to her always in the bed. I witnessed my dad
Just hearing that right there, a lot of people wonder how Chrisean Rock ended up in a toxic relationship. She just explained right there. And if you knew her, I'm a diagnosed narcissist and I put on toxic people's traits and behaviors. A lot of people keep asking, like, how does Chrisean Rock, why does she stay with Blueface? Why does she keep doing this? Why does she keep going back? She just told you why. He was privy to her mom being abused by her father in her childhood. She said it. She's like, her mom was her idol, her role model. They used to pray to her, walk her to school, have good times and things like that. And then all of a sudden, it seemed like her mom fell into a deep depression. And then she's like, we used to witness my father abuse her. Sometimes people end up in toxic relationships because it feels like home sometimes. She grew up in it, so she's in this relationship. It kind of mirrors what she grew up in. And when you're in a toxic, abusive relationship, y'all, you become somebody else. Like, you become somebody you never thought existed before. Like, parts of you get exposed that you never thought would be exposed before. You don't recognize yourself. You don't know who you are. That's why she keeps going back into these toxic relationships with Blueface over and over again. Like, oh, she's over, y'all. She's in power. And then she got him on live again. A lot of people ask me this, like, I don't want my kids to end up in a toxic relationship when they grow up. How do I stop that? Y'all, one thing you can do is model what a healthy relationship looks like. You have to get him a role model to look up to. Like, damn, this is what a relationship looks like. This is how a man is supposed to treat a woman is supposed to treat a man, a person is supposed to treat another person. Instead of watching you get abused by somebody else and like, oh, this is how it's supposed to be. So I'm supposed to, screaming and hitting is love, right? Okay, so when I grow up, okay, I got it. So the next time if you're in a toxic relationship right now and you thinking to yourself, like, I need to stay because of the kids, look at that video right there. Look at all these situations. If you see celebrities or just adults in general who are in toxic relationships and say, hey, look, my mom did this, my dad did this. Hey, I grew up, I got abandoned as a child. You look, y'all, some people stay for the kids, some people leave for the kids, because leaving sometimes gives your kids the best chance of growing up with a healthy dynamic. At least sometimes they have a healthy household instead of 100% of the time being around toxicity. Anyways, y'all, hope this brings you some clarity and some peace. Follow the YouTube channel at Mental Healness. Thank you. Mental Healness.
Okay, y'all, let's do a quick look into Chrisean Rock's birth chart. I don't want to do this simply because of the toxicity she's been experiencing with Blueface. I really just want to get to know this girl on a different level. Let's go. She is a Pisces sun, a Cancer rising, and a Cancer moon. So she has a trine in her top 3. All water. Baby girl is a river, ocean, waterfall. She's very emotional. Very much so. So the rising sign kind of explains our outer appearance, our physical appearance. Well, this would explain why she has such a round face. She's a Cancer rising, so, the Cancer is ruled by the moon. This will make her face very full, very round, and very beautiful, by the way. This also makes her very selfless, very loyal, by fault. By a fault, honey. Because, for real, her friends come first. Her family comes first. Anybody that she loves, they come first. It's hard for her to consider herself. And that's kind of sad, but commendable, depending on the situation. Alright, so let's get back into the chart. First of all, this chart shows that she was born in the daytime because all of her placements are pretty much above that middle line. Houses 7 through 12. Most of her placements are there. So this doesn't mean that she was born when the sun was rising, okay? Although she does have some placements in the 6th house right here. Let's talk about that. So her 6th house is ruled by Sagittarius, and she has her Chiron and Pluto. She has her Pluto there. So the 6th house is basically talks about our routines, jobs, what we do on a day-to-day basis. This could also talk about cleanliness, organization, basic routine stuff, right? Well, it's in Sagittarius, so there's really no order there. And she has some very crucial planets, placements, or whatever. She has some crucial stuff going on there. Chiron and Pluto is nothing to play with. Being the fact that it's in her 6th house, she's experienced some trauma on a day-to-day basis. So this could even have something to do with her past, growing up, how she was raised. It was very chaotic, is what it looks like. Now, I'm not going to get into every placement. I just want to kind of do a quick look. But like I said, she has a lot of placements in the upper areas here, houses 7 through 12. This lets me know that she has a lot of interpersonal relationships. This could explain why she's experiencing fame right now, especially being the fact that she has the 11th house with Jupiter and Saturn there. Jupiter is the planet of abundance. The 11th house represents networking, friends, all that sorts of things. So she experiences a lot of popularity here. That will make a lot of sense. And to kind of go back to the bottom part of the chart, she does have her 2nd house in Leo. This will let me know that she will make money off of fame. So
present in your mom when she was in your grandmother's womb. So now we're talking about generational energies, generational emotions. Now we're talking about intergenerational trauma, intergenerational karma. So your moon sign is very much connected to your karma, and this is why the moon nodes, which is known as your north node, and your south node is very important in understanding your soul's purpose, because the key reason why your soul chose to come here is to balance karma and to evolve and to tap into its highest potential. But of course, many times we're not able to tap into our highest potential because we are hindered by the blockages of our bloodline, right? And this is where we get into topics such as your bloodline curses and your bloodline karma and your sin debt. And these simply talk about the experiences that occurred in your bloodline that stripped your ancestors away from their divine soul energy. So now we get into the conversations of, how we separate our higher nature from our lower nature, because the moon tends to connect to our lower nature or our shadow natures. This is why the moon is symbolically the light in the dark, right? Because the moon is the luminary that goes into the dark and brings light, and the sun is the luminary of the daytime. So the sun, in mythology and in that more esoteric sense, it is the light of our soul, and the moon is the experiences that make us human. These are the experiences that we're here to overcome, utilize.
God reveals messages to people in many ways, both direct and symbolic. Learning to recognize divine communication requires having your own value system of self as an emotional source and not someone else's sarcasm and one-sided judgments. Sometimes God speaks to us through other people. It may come in the form of affirmation, confirmation, encouragement, or even reproof or warning. And the Lord may use anyone he chooses to deliver his message, even someone we may not like. No matter the source, we should thoughtfully consider anyone's disclosure of their personality for a guide or example for our own inner growth. The source of creation uses difficulties and suffering to grab our attention. In every event, God has something to teach us. Instead of focusing on why the situation has happened, our first question should be, God, what are you reflecting back to me? Hebrews 4:12 states, "For the word of God is living and active, sharper than any two-edged sword, piercing to the division of soul and of spirit, of joints and of marrow, and discerning the thoughts and intentions of the heart."
So I keep seeing these clips online of Krishan and the Blueface fight with the family. Now, I have not seen the full video. I'm probably not going to watch the show because I haven't watched TV since I was in high school, which at this point has been almost a decade. When I look at her interacting with her family, it almost was like she transformed into a little girl. Like when her sister pushed her and she was just like, and then when she ran in front of Blueface, she's like, move back, like that. Like, you can tell, like, as a little girl, her family was chaotic. We know this. You can tell by the way that they fight each other and are willing to put their hands on each other. This is something that she is used to. So when it comes to her, you wonder why she feels so comfortable with fighting everybody, because her world from the beginning, her at-home world, was so chaotic and they were fighting and argumentative and put their hands on each other. So that's normal for her. We have to give people grace because they tell us that unhealed trauma shows up in our current lives. So if this is how she was taught to handle problems in her childhood and she never got that healed, this is why she handles her issues the way she does. This is why she loves a chaotic relationship, because all she's ever known is chaos. This is just my assumption. This is just from what I saw from that video. And we have to start giving people grace. This stuff seems funny to y'all. This is repostable. This is just a story to y'all, but these are real people's lives. And one day she's gonna look back on this, hopefully, after healing and doing the work, and be like, wow, I really was showing up as my childhood self in my early 20s. I really wish that I had healed sooner, so that way, you know, I wouldn't have had to go through all of this. And even though she might not have had the best family, she can create a family that's better than what she was given, and not pass down that trauma, but she has to heal. The work that's gonna have to be done, I feel like, is going to be a long journey. But if she ever does heal, I promise you she's going to be a great motivation to girls that grew up in broken homes. If she can heal, she's going to be the type of voice that is needed for girls that have grown up in her situation, that grew up trenched out, parents on drugs, family fighting, chaotic, a bunch of kids, no money, no help, no guidance, babies raising babies, seeing things that you shouldn't have saw, experiencing things that you shouldn't have, and just trying to figure a way out. When I saw the initial clip on my timeline, when they were pushing her and she was just like, get back, she literally looked like a baby in the face. Like, I was just like, oh my gosh, and I shed a tear. I was like, oh no, like, I don't like seeing stuff like that, because I get triggered. I get so triggered by stuff like that, because, you know, this is entertainment to everybody else, but this is really her fucking life. And at the end of every day, she's going to be dealing with the consequences of this stuff for years to come. This is never not going to be a topic at the family events. You get what I'm saying? Like, there's always going to be somebody that's going to be butthurt or still want to bring up the messiness that occurred in that moment, even though it's long past at this point. I just hope she heals. I hope we all heal, but I hope she heals, because right now, you know, a lot of people are looking up to her or looking at her or judging her as if they don't do the crazy stuff behind closed doors. I know I've been the crazy girl before. Call a nigga phone 50 times, pop up at his house, throwing rocks at his window. I was like 18, 19 years old. I remember being that young and just feeling something inside of me like, why does this always happen to me? Realizing that you have issues and trauma and childhood stuff that you gotta let go of really does help, because there's still stuff from my childhood that I'm working on right now that still affects me to this day. And, you know, I'm still gonna constantly be healing my entire life. I'm going to be healing my entire life, because it took a very, very long time for this stuff to even occur, for me to even recognize that this is what it is. So I'm going to heal, progress, and evolve for the rest of my life. And I just hope that she does the same. I hope that she gets what she needs in this lifetime, like, which is genuine love, genuine care, genuine patience. Somebody to hug her. And hug her until she can't stop crying. Hug her until she just feels no strength in her body anymore.